Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to cut right through the hype to see what's really happening with artificial intelligence in 2026. You know, after years and years of promises, it feels like the moment of truth for AI has finally arrived.
I mean, the big promise, right, is that AI is finally ready to become our partner, a trusted co-pilot that's just built right into our daily work, making us way more efficient and effective. And that's a pretty fantastic vision. But here is the reality check. A recent MIT study, it found that a staggering 95% of enterprise AI pilot programs have failed to deliver any return on investment. Wow. I mean, that is a huge disconnect between the promise and what's actually happening on the ground.
So, okay, the really crucial point for 2026 isn't about what AI can do in a lab. It's all about justifying its existence in the real world. You know, the game has totally changed from what if to, okay, but what's the value?
And that's exactly right. The AI bubble, it's facing a major correction. Think about it. For the last few years, companies were just pouring money into AI, mostly out of FOMO, that fear of being left behind. But now leadership is under some serious pressure to show a real, measurable return for all those massive tech investments.
All right, let's move on. Let's see how all this pressure is creating a really fundamental shift in what AI actually does for us. Because it's not just about getting information anymore. Nope, it's about taking action.
So, the biggest trend driving this change is something called Agentic AI. And you can kind of think of these as a brand new digital workforce. They're literally designed not just to think, but to do. And what's so powerful is how simple this shift really is. I mean, we used to look at AI as, a chatbot that would give us answers. But now, we're seeing them as agents that can actually perform complex, multi-step tasks for you. Everything from adjusting inventory to responding to customer requests, all in real time.
And from your perspective as the user, the process is brilliantly simple. You just give the agent a goal. Think of it like typing a destination into your GPS. The AI then figures out the best sequence of actions to accomplish it and just gets it done.
But what's maybe even more significant is how this new capability is letting AI move beyond our screens and, into the physical world. This is where that digital workforce we talked about starts to have a real physical presence.
So yeah, we're seeing this huge surge in actual physical robots. You've got humanoid robots becoming more and more common in workplaces. You have cobots, that's collaborative robots, working side by side with humans. And of course, robotaxis are already a real thing in cities like San Francisco, Phoenix, and even Beijing.
And this just brilliantly illustrates the impact AI is having in really high-stakes fields. I mean, just look at healthcare. Check this out. One Microsoft AI model showed an 85.5% accuracy in solving super complex medical cases. Compare that to just 20% for experienced physicians. 20%! That is a complete game changer for getting access to expertise and for the quality of care.
Okay, but with all this new power to act in both the digital and the physical worlds, that comes with some pretty significant risk. As these AI agents get more and more autonomous, we absolutely have to figure out how to manage them. And believe me, this risk is very, very real. According to one study, a staggering 82% of US companies have already seen their AI agents go rogue. Making bad decisions, exposing sensitive data, or even triggering security breaches. And this has led to the rise of something experts are now calling shadow AI. Basically, these are rogue, unsanctioned AI tools that employees are using. They can connect to internal systems and start taking actions, completely bypassing all the normal security controls and audit trails. It's a huge problem.
So what's the solution? How do you combat this? Well, the leading idea is something called just-in-time authorization. So instead of giving an AI agent these broad, long-lasting permissions, you give it a temporary token with super limited permissions just for the specific task it needs to do right now, and then it's gone. It's basically a zero-trust model for this new AI workforce.
Okay, so let's zoom out a bit. All of these technological shifts, they're not happening in a vacuum, right? They are part of this really intense global competition that is shaping, the future of technology and even geopolitics.
Right now, the landscape is pretty much dominated by a handful of titans, and each one is taking a slightly different approach. You've got OpenAI pushing the limits of conversation, Google's Gemini is excelling at reasoning with different types of media,
Microsoft is all about integrating Copilot into the enterprise, and then you have Anthropic, which is really focused on building safety right into the core of its models.
And if you look at it on a national level, this whole tech race is really becoming a tale of two countries. The US is currently in the lead on the key benchmarks, but China is innovating at just an incredible pace. That gap is closing fast, and honestly, this is becoming the central geopolitical contest of our time.
But you know what? The single biggest roadblock to AI's future growth, it might not be the tech, or the talent, or even the money. It's energy. The massive, and I mean rapidly growing, amount of energy that it takes to train and run these incredibly powerful systems. The demand for power could very well become the #1 thing that limits how far this can all go.
So as AI evolves, from just a tool that we command into a real collaborator that we work alongside, the defining question for 2026 really becomes less about the technology itself and more about, well, us. The challenge is shifting from just building smarter machines to us becoming smarter leaders.